Good morning, listeners and viewers and Jalf. Jalf, are you there? Hello? Good morning. Obviously, Jalf cannot hear me. Don't know why, don't know how. Don't know what's going on. Jalf, what's going on? But anyway, you're listening to Ammar without Jalf at the minute. Is connecting to audio now, is what he's doing. Oh, there we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jalf.
I was kind of chilling, thinking everything's all waiting for the ads to finish anyway.
I know the ads finished like such a long time ago. Well, as in they went on for such a long time, didn't they? It's nearly the end of the show. Gosh. Anyway, good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf,
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
Each week we bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, and not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. We can help. Gosh, we're here. And it's Friday, the 28th of July. We're now entering the latter half of the year. Jalf.
Crazy, isn't it? Wow. It's going to be August next, which is month number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 months until Christmas.
Yeah.
16 weeks.
Not that you're counting.
Well, it's just when you hit August, Ammar, you know how quickly it starts to run. And next thing you know, you're in September, and next thing you know, in September, start of September, back into September, all the Christmas kind of promotions will all be in place, and it's going to be just, next thing you know, it's going to be 2024.
Yeah. It certainly is, my friend. It certainly is. And that's interesting, isn't it? 2024. Yeah. So what's your week been like?
Week's been, yeah, it's been another busy week for us. But I think I would like to talk about Newcastle United a little bit, because I've been getting a lot of conversations, let's say, about the season ticket holders and the members, and there's a lot of conversation, and for the first time since the kind of ownership change, there's a little bit of negativity from a few fans, and that's come from a change in certain rules that they've just introduced. And it's great for when you look at it from a revenue perspective. So basically,
it's pure commercial. It's purely commercial.
It is. So we have 38,000 season ticket holders, right? So previously, if you got a season ticket, you were also automatically a member.
Yeah.
And the benefit of a member is that you were allowed to buy additional tickets for your friends and your families, right? Yeah. And beyond the 38,000 season ticket holders, there was probably about 8,000 members, because they locked down the members because they didn't want the members to be huge, because to give you a bit of exclusivity. So let's say there was 38,000. Most of those people are going to the matches anyway because they're season ticket holders. So they're not all going to get additional tickets. So the members was about, let's say, 5,000. I don't know the exact numbers, something around about that. Okay. So you had a chance to get a ticket because you would get on the phone nice and early, get into the queue, and have a look at where you want the ticket in the stadium and get some additional tickets, pay for them, and that's it done. You get a physical ticket that comes in the post. So what they've done this year is, number one, they've taken the membership away from all season ticket holders. So you're not a member anymore. You're a season ticket holder, you've got a right to your season ticket, and that's it. And then what they've done is they've opened up the membership to anybody that wants to be a member, to give you the advantage before the tickets go into general sale. you can be a part of an elite group or a small group of individuals who have got the opportunity after the season ticket holders to get the tickets before they go on general sale. So what they did was they left the membership open-ended, Ammar. So in one day, how many people do you think joined to be a member?
Well, then
So
not only did they open up membership, they've now got two categories. They've got black and white, and they've got international.
yeah, I'm not sure
So
what the
there's
international.
4 memberships. So no
Yeah.
longer is it. So funnily enough, if I want my son to be a mascot, right, which I paid for the privilege last year, the reply I got, even though I have all of this, you know, I've got hospitality, we've got business membership, we've got all of this. We've got, the reply I got was, oh, you have to become a junior Magpie member.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
yeah,
so the black and white membership, Ammar,
yeah.
there was 80,000 in one day, generating £3 million extra revenue, and then by the time they're done with membership, I think there's going to be 100,000 members. So I actually didn't realize that I couldn't get membership. So I said, well, hold on. I rang them up and I said, yeah, but I like to buy tickets for friends and family. Yeah. And they said, well, you've got your own seats, and because you've got your one seat, you can't sit on another seat. So hence you can't get any other memberships. So which is a bit of a shame, because I always like to get some extra tickets, and I pass it on to friends or family that would want to go. I'd take people along with me in the past. Oh, do you want to come? I want to take this in James's Park for their experience. And it's a shame that we can't kind of do that anymore. But then on the other hand, you understand why they've done it. But the other thing is, Ammar, so if you want a ticket and you remember, let's say there's another 7,000-8,000 tickets that are going to be available on the match day. Yeah. From 38, because you're going to have 3,000 away fans, that's going to bring it down from 52 to 49. So you've got from 38,000, you've got 11,000 tickets, some of which you have to keep for general sale, because that's just what you have to do. That's Premier League regulations. So you might have about 7,000 tickets for members, and there's going to be 100,000 people, and it's a ballot. which is I understand the success of the club has created this situation, but not being able to go to the games or not knowing because you're in a ballot. Yeah. I'm just so thankful I've got a season ticket.
Mad, isn't it?
So I think that just shows where the club is going. And I guess from their perspective, whilst there will be disappointment, but I think they're in a place where they have to make these commercial decisions, and they're going to be continually made. The prices will go up in A, B, C, and D, but unfortunately, that's just how it is. So we have to look at it on the flip side and think that, well, hold on, do you want this, or do you want a Mike Ashley era where you had all of these things, but then you didn't have any, you were still battling relegation? So you would always choose this path because of the money that they're spending on the players and the football.
Well, they are spending, though. I mean, obviously, they're running a business. It's any type of change. At the end of the day, yeah, they could now fill a stadium of 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. Is what they could do. So they equally need to now looking at that. I suppose, having experienced this firsthand and sort of going, well, I'm paying for this and I'm paying for that and I'm doing this and I'm, everything's like, even we've got like 4 seats in hospitality. Normally, you would always get a car parking space for that, right? Okay. No car parking space. It's like, oh no, sorry, you can't. And I'm like, but you would always get a parking space if you were ever, taking 4 seats. So yeah, it's interesting. Is what it is. But equally, there's it's scaling to an international club. How would I imagine that our prices still remain a little bit lower than the likes of
a lot lower. They're a lot
Yeah.
lower, Ammar, when you compare them to Arsenal and other clubs, because we know
Man
people.
City or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
well,
Yeah.
not so much Man City. Man City, their prices are low.
Are they?
Yeah,
Are they?
because see, at Man City over the years, because I wanted to watch Champions League football, I'm a citizens member. So
Right.
that's basically the second category after the season ticket holders, and and that was actually £50 a year. So it was more than what Newcastle are charging, which is £37. And
Yeah.
we had the second jegs on tickets, and but the prices were not crazy because they were struggling with their fan base. They weren't filling Champions League games,
Right.
so they were in a different position. And I think slowly now they're beginning to build a bigger fan base, and they are expanding their stadium, making it bigger to like 65,000 or whatever it may be, or 62,000. I think obviously ourselves as a club, if the council probably need to help the club and find a solution to the leases end and get another 10,000 people on there, which would go in a minute. But even so, it'd still make a 65-seater stadium, which would, make it a bit easier for those fans desperately wanting to go to St James's Park. But then along with that, the Cellar and the Stack new fan zone.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be good. They're going to hopefully they'll make it as exciting as the Box Park, where they'll design it. I'm sure they'll design it in a way where everyone's going to get access to the big screens, and they're going to play all the home and the away matches. And interestingly, they're going to want to make it available, open 7 days a week, day and night, and make it a place where tourists come and visit. So I think that would generate, I would have thought maybe it's 15 to 20 million pounds a year just by that, because the amount of visitors that they're going to get, and tourists coming in, visiting, and all of that stuff. So I think that's another great thing for the city and for the club. And the thing about the fan zones, Ammar, you want to be right next to the stadium, because when they did fan zones in other places, it's just not the same. Imagine having a fan zone in the quayside. You're just not going to feel the same vibe because you're not next to the stadium. So
well, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can see it. Is the thing. It's like such a big deal. So you're absolutely right.
So that's going to be great. So yeah, I think. But either way, whatever's happening, it's great for the city, and hopefully
it is. But it's, as you say, it still feels slightly unjust to everyone who's been a loyal, long-term supporter, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's something that we've been used to for all of those years, 20, 30 years, and you feel that yes, I'm a loyal season ticket holder. Oh, it's great that I'm a member, because I've shown my loyalty through the poor games, the poor seasons when we were in the championship and this, that, and the other. So we need some brownie points for that. And yes, we've got the membership because we're a season ticket holder. And as I said, it gives you the first refusal to get some extra tickets for your other friends or family members that want to go along to support the team because they're hardcore fans. So when that goes from hardcore fans, my worry is when it goes to hardcore fans to the corporates who can afford this. And I think you'll always find an atmosphere within St James's Park is always going to be led from the Gallagher end, the Leazes end, just because that's where the working class fans are based.
Right.
And that's the core of our fan base, and they're the ones that follow the team thick and thin, go to every single away game. Football is their religion. They will take days off work, even if they go to a new job, they will say, well, by the way, I can't work on the games that Newcastle United go away, and whether you give me a job or not is going to be based on this. So imagine the conversations that some of these away fans have to have with their employers, Ammar, because they're not going to go to work and miss an away match. So those category of fans, they do need something because they are the soul of the club. Yeah. So I think hopefully they'll be mindful of that and not replace it with all the corporates. Some of your friends are going to sit and have prawn sandwiches and stuff, and we're going to be having the chip butties.
I don't know about that. But no, it's interesting, right? Because I've the last couple of weeks I've been with Ali from Saudi, and he just keeps highlighting and sharing. Look, Ammar, I don't think people realise or appreciate what's happening here in Newcastle, and not just the club, but as a consequence of that, right? You're going to see such incredible positive regeneration, transformation, investment, on the horizon. He's like, you need to be preparing for all of this. And then some of it is, helping break down some of the barriers. So, for example, the food and the catering, at this moment in time, it's not halal or anything like that, is it? So there should be a consideration for a lot of international people, and naturally, naturally when you come in, you want to be able to cater for everyone. I mean, all of this week, because I've been going in and out of town, I've been driving past St. James's, and the amount of Saudis and sort of visiting the stadium with their kids because they're studying here and things like that. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a massive change. We can see that, and I think, look at the influx of the Saudis into the city. It's a good thing because I'd much rather the Saudis come and spend the summer vacation in Newcastle as opposed to staying in London, which they've always done, or go to London, but at least you plan your 3-4 days up here in Newcastle, and hopefully they will. And I'm just wondering, with having international members, are they going to get? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of like algorithms in place when they choose and when the ballot is in place. I'm sure it's not going to be a straightforward ballot where you and I go and pick 7,000 pieces of paper, and pull it out of the hat and let them know who's able to get the tickets. I'm just wondering if there's going to be anything that they're going to do to encourage more international fans from Saudi Arabia to make those trips, especially the Champions Leagues, where they'll kind of come in and stay 3 days in Newcastle and
that's already happening. So we're seeing the people that are coming without any football matches, but we're going to start seeing a lot more people now. Traditionally, Saudis like to come out of Saudi in the summer, whereas the football's in the winter. So it's like, how do you manage that? Obviously, they'll just have to contend with some of that. But in any case, we will see a huge influx. I mean, some of the insights that Ali's been giving me are so exciting, that we're already looking at. I'm going to be jumping on a plane in October and going over there and meeting Ministry of Investment and various other stakeholders and things like that. I mean, honestly, the potential opportunities are immense, and businesses and organizations and people across the Northeast need to understand and appreciate that, and start preparing for it. So, things like offering catering to. We've got a vibrant hospitality, leisure, tourism offer, right? Is what we have, and it's interesting because it wouldn't take much to start flipping that a little bit and start catering for Saudi. Start to look at like tourists, hotels, things like that. Because they don't necessarily like alcohol, as in they don't drink. So alcohol-free type of leisure and hospitality would be quite attractive. That's not to say, if you offer alcohol or whatever else, they wouldn't be interested in coming. I'm just sort of thinking through how might we attract them better, having dates and things like that. Having whatever else on every seat would be a big deal, I think.
No, they like to have the biryanis and butter chicken.
So it's so just some of the headlines, Jalf. The Sin heard Sinead O'Connor.
I know, it's so sad. Sinead O'Connor, my goodness. I mean, Ammar, if you think about that song, I think it's got to be one of the most iconic songs in history.
Mm.
It's just the most incredible song. Such an incredible artist. And it's very, very sad to see her passing away. And she did have some issues in her life with her son dying. I think maybe it was just a year or 18 months ago. And I think that really, really significantly affected her. Yeah, she's going to be sadly missed. But she was just once in a generational artist, wasn't she? Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. I mean, that was, because it was just a headshot, wasn't it? The whole song was, nothing. Anyway, I can't sing like
Yeah,
Sinead
honestly,
O'Connor. But it was interesting because
incredible.
she then converted to Islam as well.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I think I'm aware of that, and I kind of was quite encouraged by that. And I remember one of the things that she said was that she felt that it was just a natural kind of, she was seeking for it, and she didn't realize that all along that she was a Muslim all along, because that's what the basis of it was based on. Yes, I'm going to follow. There is one creator, and that's the key fundamental thing. And she said, I've always felt that. Interestingly, she was a very religious person, because do you remember the time, Ammar, where she was on stage after a performance, she got a photograph of the Pope and she tore it up on stage.
Yeah.
And she was saying that, well, in the 70s, there is evidence by authorities that there was pedophilia happening in the Catholic Church, and she then protested against it, and she tore that up. And she did interviews following that, and where she was asked the questions, well, why did you do it? She said, well, because it's so wrong that can happen in the holiest place, that people were doing that, and it was proven, and everyone's trying to hide it, and I just don't feel it should be hidden, and these people should be brought to justice. And then she said that, oh, well, of course, after I did it, everyone said that, oh, she's mad, she's crazy. Imagine the media coming out, oh, she's mad. And they created a monster out of me. But if I didn't say that and I wanted to become a billionaire, I would have been a billionaire. Yeah. Because everyone was chasing us at that time. But at the end of the day, my principles were more important than me becoming a billionaire for false kind of reasons that I wasn't genuinely feeling. And we know since then, there's been so much talk about what happens. We don't want to talk about it too much, but we're just saying that what her story we're talking about. Yeah. So there's so much, and so many things have been highlighted today about pedophilia and how bad it is, and it seems to be rampant in certain groups, especially the elites with Jeffrey Epstein and all of that stuff.
I don't think that was an appropriate word to use to describe it, was it? Rampant.
I don't know. I mean, that's what she actually talked about the authorities and how they've highlighted that this was done, this and this. But I mean, isn't it shocking though? In the holiest place. I mean, imagine in the mosques things like that happening. You would it just can't never happen. Basically, the kids always need to be protected. And
look, I cannot comment
on any. We're just going on what on her stories. It's all out there.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm simply saying it's right for people in places of power or influence to highlight some of the issues. I mean, she was Irish, right? As in, it was prevalent, allegedly out there, and generally across the church. But I don't think it was exclusively the preserve of the churches. It happens, sadly. There's deviants, there's pedophiles, there's people exist across the whole of society. It's shocking. But yes, it was really sad to see her go through that turmoil. I think the biggest sort of element of sadness for me was that her son died a year ago.
Yeah.
I think he was only 17 or something, like really young. From mental health, and sadly she is as well. So anyway, God bless her soul, and may she rest in peace. Elon Musk rebrands Twitter.
Has it already started, Ammar, or is that just?
So rebrands as X. I just feel as if that's a bit silly. Everyone knows Twitter. You tweet.
Yeah.
What would you call? What would you call something as an alternative?
Well, I'm gonna X you.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
It was quite funny. And some of the comments actually are quite funny though about the change and stuff, and where it's come from, and everyone's trying to claim that it's kind of, yeah, you've taken it from us. Even Medvedev.
So Alan was highlighting it's not a class thing. It's not working class or sort of whatever class. It's more of a loyal supporter thing, isn't it? It's loyal supporters that are.
Yeah. Either way, well, that's Elon's business, and I guess it's up to him what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
And if he wants to change the name, then that's his prerogative. But what he did a few weeks ago, when you were scrolling down on Twitter, he didn't let you scroll down too much unless you paid that extra money. How many billions did he make?
Just trying to get everyone to pay a membership, aren't they?
Yeah, well, then everyone had to get membership, and it costs £150 a year. And how much did he make just from that day?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Is what it is. So anyway, and then the clean air zone.
Clean air zone is just an absolute farce. I don't believe any of that. I'm sorry to say. I think they're trying to say that the weather. Oh my God, the weather! It's the hot. Where's the heat? I have to see the rain.
You've just seen the what?
The rain. Where is it? Where's the 50 degrees sunshine in Newcastle? Because it's raining here all the time. So are you trying to tell me that? Oh my God, it's the highest temperature since the start of. No, I don't think so. Because I'm not feeling it here.
Yeah.
So I just think everyone needs to be very, very wary of what the government's telling everybody about this net zero, because they've got big plans to not allow 15-minute cities and all of that stuff. And I think it's a joke, personally. That's my personal view. Of course, we love the environment. The environment is so important to us. But when you think about the environment, a healthy environment, I think about farms. I think about animals roaming around your farm. I think about eating organic, eating fresh, eating good water from the springs. To me, to protect the environment, and we should be all encouraged to live and eat organically from individual independent farmers who are going to give their life and soul to all of their produce. You know, the gentleman we met from Hexham, the potato farmer is going to make you the best potatoes. They're going to look after it, nurture it. It's going to be handed on from family to generation to generation. You want to save the environment? Then make sure all of those things are intact. For me, that's what my personal view is. But when the environmentalists are saying that cows farting in the air is destroying the environment, I just think that's absolutely ludicrous. Yeah. So and you've got these big companies buying all of the farmland, using genetically modified food to feed us nonsense and rubbish. I just don't think that the agenda is correct. It's not the right way to do it. So when they're not doing it as it should be done, naturally the common sense tells you that it should be done in a particular way. And the corporates and the governments are telling you something different. I'm a bit confused about the whole subject of the environment. Because when I'm speaking to farmers, Ammar, and I speak to lots of farmers,
yeah,
because I'm interested in produce and getting the best produce. They are telling me that the government's just making their life so difficult, telling them to change their techniques that have been successful for hundreds of years. And someone goes in with a shirt and a tie, from the city council telling them, well, you need to do this, 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 and this. And they say, well, hold on, mate, that doesn't make sense. But they say, well, that's the rules. And it's not coming from our government, it's coming from the EU, and then it's coming from the World Economic Forum. And look what they've done in like the farmers in Holland and the Netherlands. They've been like fighting the government because they're like trying to take all the farms away from them and stuff. It's just I think we need to be very, very careful, because without farming, what are we going to eat? Are we going to just eat mass produced processed food? Is that what we're supposed to eat and give our kids? I don't think that's going to lead to a healthy future. And if you think about, look at the obesity rates today compared to the 60s or the 70s. If you ever look at a photograph of people in the beach in the 70s as opposed to today, there's so many like fat people today. There wasn't that many fat people in the 70s because of the food that they were intaking. I'm sorry to say.
Are you allowed to say that?
Ah, of course you can. Why can't you say it? No. I mean, political correctness. I mean, there's got to be come on, where's the boundaries of political correctness?
I don't think you can do fat shaming or whatever it's called.
Okay, well, you know, a little bit larger than life-sized individuals. Is that better?
I don't know. Yeah. I know society's changed. You know, one of the biggest issues is sugar. One of the biggest killers is sugar.
But of course.
No. So people go, right, well, we used to eat sugar years ago, molasses and honey. It was all natural, right? We then introduced refined sugar, and we started mass manufacturing it and genetically modifying the natural sugar that used to exist.
That's a key thing. That's a key word, Ammar, refined.
Yeah. So it's interesting that people are impacted and experiencing. There's we're lazier is what we are. We're not as active as we used to be. We don't eat as healthily or as organically as we used to be. And the levels of stress and pressure, that just compounds things, and that affects so many people. I mean, gosh, mental health, is impacting so many people. Is what it is. Anyway, so the clean air zone I was talking about was a Newcastle coach company was forced to fork out over £100,000 on new exhausts. I mean, the cost of taxi drivers. If your taxi's older, before you used to be able to get a taxi and you'd order it. Now they have to. All that's happening. That cost is being absorbed and passed on to customers, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Taxi prices. I was at Silverlink yesterday. Dropped my car off at Silverlink, and I came up to the city centre. Ammar, how much do you think the Blue Line taxi cost?
£10, £12.
It's £17. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, my goodness me. I mean, and the fuel cost, that would have cost him like, what, £2 in fuel? Not even that.
Yeah. And
they're charging you 17 quid. And I think that's just become the norm in terms of taxi fares. It's just where the prices have got to. And I think it's yeah. So that goes down to all the cost increases.
And what's going on in the city centre? You can't get food at the time.
You can't get food.
After 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
Oh, I know. I think Ammar, that's come down to I think that's just come down to people, operators they just cannot have extended opening hours where they're not going to be seriously busy because they just can't afford to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not just one operator. I think we were as we know firsthand, a lot of operators shutting down 10 o'clock on a Friday night, which is a bit kind of, unexpected, because you would have thought.
Lots of people come out later and things like that. As in Friday and Saturday, you'd expect food to be like served until at least 11.
11 easily 11 o'clock. So yeah, that's something that's obviously mechanics and the dynamics of business are just constantly changing, and operators just finding ways where they can save money because the costs are so high. And I think that's where that's come from, which is a shame because, what do people do then? To just go to the kebab shops or something? Or I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, and then it's not the best food, is it, in the world?
Yeah.
Places. Anyway, so it's summer holidays. Are all the graduations now finished?
I think they're all more or less done, Ammar. We saw a couple of days earlier on in the week where there were still, you could see families that have graduated. Well, obviously now schools are closed. You probably, a lot of families are going away on holidays. So I think traditionally, when I've spoke to other friends in business, I think their businesses slightly dip a little for the next couple of weeks because it's holiday season, and then maybe when you're getting into mid-August, for the restaurants you have restaurant week, and then you have the football starts again, which makes a big difference. And I think when you get
early, that it's on the 12th, isn't it? Is the first game on the 12th?
It's only a couple of weeks away now. And then after that, Ammar, you have a couple of weeks dip in September because families are taking kids to school and buying new uniforms and all of those things, and they'd be a bit out of pocket. And then it starts again in the back end of September in terms of people are back and settled, holidays are done, and ready for the winter, autumn.
Yeah, it's certainly. Yeah, gosh, are you doing anything? Are you going anywhere? Jeff?
Possibly looking possibly at Dubai. Gonna look at the possibly go to the UFC as well.
Right.
For a long weekend. So
why not?
Yeah, it's a great event. It's
right.
Great.
Exciting.
When you have the most dangerous fighters in the world, they rock up at Yas Island, but what it's called. I mean, it's a sight to behold. When you see these guys and the dedication and they're just dangerous people, fighters, and you just watch the entourage, and it is like a great experience to have.
It's good. It's good. And I think going abroad makes a big difference, doesn't it? As in, that whole experience adds to it and such like. It's
yeah, it does, and obviously you're able to compare and contrast our way of living to how those live in other parts of the world. I think traditionally, when you were going away, Ammar, we're probably going to like countries which were maybe a lot poorer than the UK, and our standard of living was so much higher.
Yeah.
Than when we went on holiday. Is that how you felt? Because
I think so.
But I think now, though,
I mean, the British traditionally, and it's probably remiss of me to put everybody in the same. But you were from Britain, you were from England, and you almost like looked down on everybody. Because British and everybody should speak English, and it's like,
you can't speak English. Oh my God! Well, you're not that.
Something's wrong. I can't believe I'm in a foreign country
and you can't speak English.
What's all that about?
That's the mentality that we used to have. But do you think I feel a bit differently now, though? Because when you go on a holiday and then you say, "Oh my God, look at these like cities and look at this." Look at the hotels and the roads. I think we have fallen behind.
Quality. Yeah. We've been left behind in every sense, haven't we?
And I think I'm very saddened about that because, when I saw some footage that someone showed some footage of London 100 years ago. Honestly, it's so beautiful. It was just so amazing. You're like, oh my God. And compared to now, I think things have turned for the worse, and that's a bit sad. And I don't know how and what they can do to reverse that, because there's been so many bad decisions more in recent years, which has affected the country from Brexit to the pandemic, to now the war in Ukraine, which is having a massive impact on the UK, and it shouldn't have, but it is. So all of these factors really slow down the development and growth of the country. I mean, HS2, why is there so much, hoo-ha about getting a super duper railway line? Because other countries do it so fast. Why can't we do it? We're supposed to be one of the leading nations in the world. I mean, if you see what's happening in China, I mean, let's forget the Middle East. I mean, Qatar and Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I mean, the metro lines that you're very much aware of, how quickly they've built that. And we've been like, Parliament's been hooing and hawing about HS2. Now it's only going to go up to Manchester and ABC, and because we can't afford to, it's going to cost X amount of billions.
It's yeah, it is. It's crazy how long and protracted everything is and takes. Anyway, one of the business topics of the week this week is mastering time management. I don't think anyone can do that, really, can they?
I think you're good at it.
I need a TARDIS. That's what I need. I need to be able to go back and forth. I need to be Doctor Who. But, I mean, one of the things to recognise is, the value of time cannot be overstated. Effective time management is a critical factor in boosting productivity, meeting deadlines, and achieving success. Before delving into time management techniques, take a moment for self-reflection. Identify the challenges you face with managing your time effectively. Additionally, perform a time audit to analyze how you currently allocate your hours each day. Set specific goals for improving your time management skills. Once you've assessed your time management skills through self-reflection and conducted a time audit, it's time to implement these top time management strategies and prioritization techniques. The Eisenhower matrix is a valuable tool for categorizing tasks into 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. Focus on tasks in the important and urgent quadrant first. Alternatively, use A, B, C, D, with A being a priority and then D being a low priority. Time blocking, Jeff, putting time in your diary just to exclusively focus on certain things. Avoid multitasking. It's funny how much we're all guilty of this. Multitasking can lead to reduced productivity and increased errors. Focus on one task at a time to enhance efficiency and concentration. Delegation and outsourcing. Identify tasks that can be delegated to your team members or outsourced to external professionals, and use technology to your advantage. Leverage time management apps and tools to streamline processes. Once you've established a solid foundation with effective prioritization techniques, it's equally important to address and overcome common time management challenges for sustained productivity. So dealing with procrastination, sort of getting around and doing something. Identify the root causes of procrastination, such as fear of failure or perfectionism. Implement strategies like specific deadlines and breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps to overcome this obstacle. Handling interruptions and distractions. Create a focused work environment by minimizing distractions in your workspace. Set boundaries with colleagues, family, or friends to manage interruptions effectively. Mastering time management offers a plethora of long-term benefits for small business owners. By improving work-life balance, you can dedicate time to personal pursuits and relaxation, ultimately reducing burnout and enhancing overall well-being. Additionally, enhanced productivity achieved through better time management allows you to accomplish more tasks. It's all about time. Jeff, I always feel it's like the single most important commodity in our lives, because you can never get it back.
Mm-hmm.
You can never get time back. You can make money, you can lose money, you can, do pretty much all of these other things, but the time is like the most sacred thing. And ultimately, we're all running out of it, heading to our final destination.
Well, of course, and the thing is, time is moving. Time itself is not moving any quicker, but we feel as though it's moving faster and faster. World is moving, everything is just at such a pace now compared to what it used to be. Days are shorter. I don't know. Either we're packing so much more in, or everything's just become so hectic that time flies. So I guess with time, I think you should maximize every single minute that you have and make sure that every single minute is as productive as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's painful, isn't it? Is what it is. It's crazy. So ABC Awards, Jalf, once again, 19th of October. We have these planned, and we're looking forward to sort of a bigger, better celebration. Got lots of supporters this year. Looking to get some headline sort of politicians. We may even, you're always hesitant to sort of say this politician might be coming.
Well, we might get Rishi Sunak might come along. He's going to get invited along with King Charles. So hopefully, one of the big boys will rock up.
Yeah, well, Rishi's meant to be coming up this weekend, is what he is. But there's an event going on tomorrow. Actually, at St. James's is what it is. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. But I mean, what do you think about the whole Nigel Farage saga, Jalf?
I think it's another saga. I think it's very, very worrying for all of us. There is no way in the world the bank should have the authority to close somebody's bank account based on their political views. It's not that we're big fans. We've never been. I mean, I've not had a. To be honest, Nigel Farage is you could say that he's a controversial politician, but so what? So what if he's controversial? What, he can't? He doesn't have a right to a bank account.
Yeah.
Absolutely bloody ridiculous. I mean, subsequently,
because we talked about this, we were talking about Turkey. I mean, I'm going to Turkey to check the office and just see stuff, and it's so people that we know who are UK citizens, British, they live out there at the minute. They've got like a bank account here. Interestingly, the same bank, and they got a letter saying, "Oh, we're closing your bank account down."
It's crazy, Ammar. I mean, what would anyone do? It started off with like this was said a couple of years ago, because when they closed down, let's say a country's bank account, Russia's, then it was Abramovich's, then it was a lot of Muslim groups. Oh well, we're going to close your bank account because you guys are deemed as terrorists or whatever it was. Politically, it was kind of whatever the media was saying about ABC and D. Oh yeah, politically it's not correct. Well, we're not going to open a bank account for you. And then now it's Nigel Farage. Tomorrow it could be you and I. I mean, what are people going to do without a bank account? And how come there is not a law in place that protects the public, that the banks cannot close their bank accounts? Because it's our money. It's not their money. It's our money in their account, and it's a storage facility. That's what it should be deemed as. You are storing our money, and that money is ours. And that money. So imagine tomorrow when there's no cash, and no one's going to open a bank account for you, and all the banks are all buddies, because probably when you look at the people behind the banks and who is the shareholders, maybe it's the same group of people. So it means that you, like Nigel Farage himself said, I went to 7 other banks, and none of them would allow me to open a bank account. I mean, that's like horrific, and it just cannot happen. And there should be an immediate immediate change in the UK law saying that the banks do not have the ability to close anybody's bank account. That should have been discussed in the Houses of Parliament, and that there should have been an emergency legislation, as there is in Germany, that the banks cannot close your bank account. They should have instilled that immediately. But
yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's quite challenging, and I think it was, but it's really interesting, isn't it? Because had it been anybody else other than Nigel Farage, do you honestly think there would have been this level of scrutiny or intensity? Or, you know, as in, it's a shame though, isn't it, that normal average people don't have that level of influence?
yeah, of course, and he has gone after them, and he has highlighted everything that the Coutts CEO has done. I think a lady from NatWest has stepped down, I think.
Yeah, so actually, I'd met Alison Rose, so Dame Alison Rose. She was on a mission to transform NatWest and had done so, making it a bit more of an inclusive. They're leading on so many initiatives, you know, the vibrancy of the bank. They'd started making more of a profit, and they were looking to return all of the money back to the government what they got when they were bailed out. And you know, there's been some incredible positive initiatives and projects launched and delivered on the back of Alison Rose, to the point where there was the Rose Review, which was looking at equality and banking access and things like that. She's done such an incredible job, and on the back of a simple misjudgment of an error. Well, she was sat next to a BBC reporter at a dinner and made a comment. He asked her about Nigel Farage, and she made a comment, and for that one comment, she's had to resign.
Yeah, but she can't disclose anyone's private information.
No, of course she can't.
That's what she did.
All I'm saying is a slip of the tongue, right? So 30 years, 35 years she'd been at NatWest or whatever it is.
I think it's probably more than a slip of the tongue. I think she's gone and given private information out that she should never have done.
Okay, you might think or feel.
I'm sure that's what they said. Well, that's what Nigel Farage is saying.
Well, obviously he's going to be saying that, isn't he? Whereas,
but he's got it in writing, Ammar. He's got it all in writing, and he's shown his documents on Twitter and stuff. All the documents from the CEO of Coutts as well. So, well, look, this is the letter that he gave me. Look at this. Look at this. So it's all out there, and that's why she's had to resign, because it's nothing can be hidden.
No, I don't think it was in black and white from her. The chief executive Coutts, I think, was to blame. He's the one who instigated it, but she's then, because she's the chief exec of NatWest, which owns Coutts. Coutts is a nice place, though, isn't it? That was a nice place.
They do nice lunches.
Yeah, it's a lovely building.
I know that your bank account at Coutts is still there, so you're all right.
For now, obviously, I have to be careful as to what I say. You just can't say anything anywhere. You know, that's the point. Anyway, no, I'm saying this from my view. I'm not saying anybody else's. I don't have Nigel view.
I'm just sharing what Nigel Farage said.
Well, I'm telling you what. Yeah, no, and I'm telling you.
I didn't say anything about you guys. All right.
You're gonna get it, Jeff. Everything's gonna be closed down for you as well now.
I'm back with NatWest as well. So
by association. But anyway, it is a real shame, and it's outrageous that this is happening. But the banks are doing this more and more. Financial institutes, you cannot, because it's like our complaint process is 30 days, right? So imagine like someone closing your bank down and saying, "Oh, we're going to send you the money." Well, how? What? Where?
Are you going to give it to us in gold? That check's no good.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And then all of a sudden you're in this rigmarole, and then you get paid, and actually you can't pay for anything. You can't pay your mortgage. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay anything because you haven't got a bank account.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's scary.
It's ridiculous. You can't have a society that goes, everything is based on the banks, and then the banks tell you, "I'm not going to let you open a bank account." I mean, how on earth? has it come to this situation? How on earth can any responsible people in government who are governing the country for the people allow this situation?
Crazy. But yeah, anyway, we're coming up to the end of our show. I'll be not here for the next 2 weeks. So just to make you aware, although I might dial in, I'll see what's going on.
Nice FM 98.8.
Unless